It's time for our March Plan With Me. By request, the flower of the month is tulips, and we are doing a pattern calendar, a Dutch door cover, and so much more. Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell and this is the March Plan With Me. My journal this year is from Archer and Olive. We are doing a wonderful Flowers of the World theme. And for March, we're gonna do tulips because that was highly requested. Just a quick look at my journal here. In January, we did protea. February was the lotus. These are all highly requested, so keep those requests coming. We're trying to do more worldly, more exotic, more tropical flowers. February, I have been really busy, so my planner looks a little bit sparse. I did a simple weekly layout with some space for illustrations. This Journal Doodles page was actually a video that came out in early February, so check that out if you're into doodles. And let's get right into our tulip-themed Dutch door cover page for March. So for the Dutch door, you're going to mark in 8 squares on 2 pages. And then we're going to illustrate a big bunch of yellow tulips, fresh from the market, still wrapped in their brown paper. So I just sketched a triangle, upside down triangle, like a pizza slice there in pencil. And then I'm going to fill in the top part of that triangle with these yellow ovals. I kind of draw an oval and fill it in with sketchy lines. That's how I'm illustrating these tulips. We're keeping everything really, really simple. Then I take a green brush pen and I'm filling in these sketchy lines all around the tulips to hint at the idea of stems, of course, on the flower, and then I'll frame them with some large green leaves. I'm going to fill in the bottom part of that triangle shape with brown. You can use any brown for the paper that the tulips are wrapped in, and then we kind of see the bottom of the stems peeking out at the base of that paper. You can put some more leaves, and that's it. It's such a simple illustration. To make them look a little bit more three-dimensional, you might place some little lines kind of near the top. It looks like the stamen is peeking out of the blooming tulips. And if you have a darker green, you could place like some dark green lines there just to make everything really pop and have a bit of polish. But this illustration, you basically need a brown and a green, and then whatever color you want your tulips to be. So it's that simple. And then from there, I like to just add a little bit of that sketchy black illustrative line. You can kind of draw in the paper with pencil first if it makes you more comfortable. Sketch a little piece of tape there, maybe put some lines or polka dots on the brown paper, and that really brings the illustration to life. And then, as you know, I like to add that sketchy black line to my illustrations, so I am going to outline the flowers and leaves. And all I'm doing for the florals, for the tulips, is like drawing this really messy oval shape or kind of a U shape. It's super, super sketchy and illustrative and messy, and I think that's what makes this one look so pretty. It's a little bit wrong, a little bit wonky. Okay, let's cut out our Dutch door. We're gonna place a cutting mat under just that single piece of paper. Take a ruler and a paper knife and hold the ruler nice and straight, and you're gonna cut along the top and bottom of that Dutch door. So just like that. And then we quickly go around and we cut out all of the other bits, cut out all of the illustration. Just take your time and do that. And that's what it looks like when you're all done. Very pretty little Dutch door for March. And then as usual, I'm going to place my calendar and March title on the page below. So I've just got a simple calendar there, and then I'm going to just write the March short form. I just outlined it in pencil, and then I'm going over it with a fine liner. And that's basically it. I need to highlight those days of the week. I'm going to pick up the brown from the illustration, and I think that looks really, really pretty. This illustration literally took 15 minutes. It's simple. It should look a little messy. That's the charm of it. These planner illustrations, especially now that I have a baby at home, I'm not doing anything too finicky, but I want it to still look really pretty. So I hope you'll find that that one is super achievable. On the page below, this is my kind kind of month at a glance. I place my goals and affirmations as well as the calendar here. And so I just want to add a few flowers. And as I work through my March theme, I'm not only going to illustrate tulips, I'm also going to add some daffodils to the mix, and it's all going to follow this really, really springy color palette because I am ready for spring around here. It is so cold in Halifax right now, and we have a winter storm warning this weekend, so yay! But my daffodil is just this big 5-petal flower. You can draw that with a light peach or a yellow, and then you place this messy orange stamen in the center. It's a really achievable way to illustrate a daffodil. And basically I'm just drawing some other messy spring blooms here, some more tulips, some simple florals, and we're keeping everything in this spring color palette of yellow with that complementary color purple, and then a little bit of pink and peach as well. So I just did a nice linear floral illustration across the top. Then what I want to do is add my goals and focus. And focus is just my affirmations. I just like to write these things out for the month, and I love that they're tucked away below the Dutch door. And I always kind of do the same thing here. It's just a nice way to set some intentions for the month ahead. And then this page still looked a little blank, so I'm drawing another daffodil and some more tulips. Again, all you need for this are a few brush pens. You don't need tons and tons. You need a small collection like I have. I've got some Tombows, some Kois, and some Faber-Castells, and those are the ones I reach for most often. And of course, you can add that sketchy black line if you like. Okay, our cover page and month at a glance are looking good, and we're ready to move on. I'm already feeling that spring vibe from this pretty, almost a little bit Eastery color palette. Next up, I've got a calendar page, and we're gonna make some fun pattern artwork. But first, let's go over the calendar. I sketched it in pencil first, and then you know I'm allergic to rulers, so this is my trick. I just pull the pen in towards my body, rotating the page as I go, and I just go over it and it stays mostly straight. Doesn't need to be perfect. That's what the calendar looks like. Now the fun part. We're going to create a pattern on both pages, kind of going in behind the calendar, almost giving it this collaged look. And I want to draw tulips, but this is another fun way to draw them. You're going to do a U shape with that kind of scalloped edge across the top. Let's do another one together. U shape, and then give it a bumpy edge, and then just fill it in. This is going to create a really graphic tulip. We'll also add daffodils to our pattern. Again, 5 petals, just like that, and then we'll place the stamen in the middle later on. If you need to, draw a guide with 5 lines and then just fill in the petals. But these are 2 really simple graphic flowers. You can draw them in any color you like. I think the peach and purple work really nice for spring. And we're just going to create a large scale pattern by placing a bunch of each flower all over the page. Then it's time to add some detail to these flowers. For the tulip, take a darker color. In my case, it's just a slightly darker purple. And we're going to place a bunch of lines along each tulip. It's just a really, really easy, simple, achievable way to add detail to this flower. And we're going to also add stamens to all of those daffodils. Again, 5 petals, and then you add that big orange burst in the center. And it's that simple. Now we can take a nice mossy green. This is a Koi brush pen that I'm using, and we'll add leaves and stems to each of these flowers, and you can see the pattern really starting to emerge. Make sure to add some stems and flowers that are coming onto the page from the top and from the bottom, so it looks like a continuous pattern, almost like you've laid a piece of fabric right over your journal. And of course, they should also continue in behind the calendar. And if you've got blank spaces you need to fill, you can add stems and leaves, or of course more flowers. Then to complete our patterned calendar, we're simply going to take a small piece of ripped paper, write March on it, and we'll glue it right in the center of the left-hand page. Okay, next up, I have a brand new weekly layout to share. I have outlined this in pencil, and I'm just gonna go over it with a nice weighty fine liner. I believe this is an 05 nib in the black liner. And I've got 3 rectangles kind of laid out on the left, 4 on the right. If this is a nice layout, if you like to have a single space for each day of the week and not have the weekend combined. I think mine are about 6 squares in height, so not too big, but enough space for a to-do list. You've got a large space on the right-hand side for notes, a little calendar on the left, and then I also left a square area here where I want to place an illustration. For my little square drawing, I'm going to stay in the same color palette, just doodling some florals. It's really easy with brush pens. You can kind of hint at floral shapes, like the tulips are just simple ovals. I use purple to make some little 4 and 5 petal flowers, and they're kind of bursting out of the square. Then I take that same mossy warm green and we just add stems and leaves. The leaves and stems are meant to just simply frame the flowers and fill in all that negative space. So it doesn't really matter what shape they are. I just really give a flick of the brush and, then I've got a nice leaf shape and I want it to look like it's bursting forth like a nice field of flowers. I'm going to take my black liner and go over that square that I had initially sketched in to make it look like, this illustration is kind of framed nicely and it becomes this cohesive part of the layout. And then I think I'll just take a lighter green, fill in and frame those flowers even further. And I want to draw a pretty pink sky at the top here using one of my Tombow light pinks. I'm also going to take that light pink and use it as kind of my color for the layout for the week. And I'll write notes in the notes section over here. I'll get rid of all of my pencil and eraser and all that. Everything looks nice and clean. I'm going to add a shadow to my bubble lettering. I'll take a really thick fine liner and just write March in there, nice weighty text. And then I'm going to pick up some of the colors like purple and pink. And I'm just going to highlight some of the areas like the days of the week. I really like this layout. It's not one that I've done before. There's just enough space for my to-do list, my notes, and of course a little illustration never hurts. Let's take a quick look at our March tulip spread. We have a Dutch store cover with really simple and achievable illustration. I've kept everything in a bright spring color palette with complementary colors like purple and yellow. I love this pattern calendar page with the ripped paper title. I think that's one that I'll definitely do again. It was so fun. And I'm keeping it simple with a nice structured weekly layout. I didn't do a lot of extras this month. We've been super busy, but remember, you can print my March cover page. It is available on Patreon. So patrons of the channel, thank you for your support and go grab your cover page after today's video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon with a new tutorial.